Hello everyone, it's Tanya with Scribbles in Time. I am going to do a quick video today, and I think what I'm going to end up doing, I had mentioned in my last video that I had some older videos that I was going to have to go back and post because I'm doing those myself now. And one of the book I had did this book in combination with another book on a video, and that other book ended up selling before I ever even got it into my Etsy shop. So I'm just going to do an individual video of this one, and I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and I think what I'll do is film a video first of the big one, and then I'll go back and film a separate video of this one, only because when I do put books in my Etsy shop, I like for them to have a video link of their own so that the person can go back and look at a video. So let me move that out of the way. This is my first time filming in my new craft room. I'm so excited. It is amazing how much smoother crafting goes when you have a designated room for crafting. But anyway, so my point to that is I don't know how well the light is in this room. I think it's probably better than the room I was filming in, but it may be weird shadows and stuff because I have windows on like all two different sides of the room. But anyway, so this book here is very similar to the style of the last book. I did make several changes that, you know, may not be so obvious just when you're looking at the outside. It's more on the inside that I changed up. On the outside, obviously, the other one had a wheat and this one has roses. And I'm calling this one Vintage Rose, and I kind of went with kind of more of a, I guess, more of a feminine style than what I normally do. I normally like masculine, and of course this one is still grungy. But this one is a little bit more frou-frou, I think. For me it is. Maybe not in comparison. But anyway, so the outside of the book is just a lot of layering, as I love to do with all the different book covers. So there's like a total of 5 book covers in this book total. And on the front, you'll see that there's layering here. Here's a book cover. Here's a book cover here, and a cover here. It's layered. Here's the pen. It's really pretty. It's a vintage pen, hence the name Vintage Rose. And it's I placed it inside of a wooden frame. And this is a piece of metal, and it's real rusty. I went back and forth on how I wanted to do that. Part of me wanted just the rust to show, so the other side was more grungy and rusty, which this side is too. But I did, you know, rub a little bit of the gold onto that. There's cheesecloth, like a cardstock. I'd like to say a cabinet card, but that's cardstock there behind it with cardboard, lace. And then you can see all the different fabric poking out from inside the book. Am I even in frame? I was just going to kind of lift that up so you could see all the different little layers. The spine has all the different layering as well. And then I've wrapped some muslin around it to kind of give it the look of securing it. But in actuality, the spine wasn't going anywhere. But I just love the look. I think that's a very vintagey look to have the muslin covering it like that. The back is just the same style. Now I did go in and add some corner protectors onto this book. There's also a little bit of writing. I don't know if you can see it. It's very faint. It's not real obvious. But yeah, there's little corner protectors on the main book. And then from the top, it looks like this. You can see the spine is real thick and layered. The side looks like this, and the bottom looks like that. Okay, and the measurements. Let's talk about that real quick. So the actual spine itself is like 2 1/4 inches. Yeah. But when you measure to the top of the roses, we're at more like about 8 1/2. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my numbers upside down. Sorry about that. I'd say it's more like about 4. Try to hold something there. I think that's the best way. Yeah, about 4. Okay, and then the width of the book, when you factor in all of the stuff sticking out, is somewhere around 8. If you go just to the edge of the book cover there, about 7 1/4. The height, again, if you go down to all the little ruffles hanging out, it's probably about 10 1/2-ish, maybe 11. But just to the book cover is about 8 3/4. And I think that's all of the information about the outside. When you flip it open, I did the same thing with the journaling space here in the front. And you'll see I used a kind of repurposed an old book cover. And it's called The Girls of Mrs. Pritchard's School. And the spine, this book was falling apart. I think that the copyright date, I want to think it's 1904, is further into the book. I put the page in the book. But yeah, I think, so yeah, I used the original spine, but as you can see it was falling apart. I had to reinforce it so that it wouldn't crumble as I stitched it on. And you can also see that the signatures, the stitching of the signatures are hidden as well. I've had insomnia for 3 nights now, so if I'm mumbling or not speaking very coherently, it's because of that. I was going to wait and film the video tomorrow, but I'm scared I'm not going to have time. I've got a lot of errands to run tomorrow. But anyway, again, journaling space on the front. Now, just counting the actual pages that are available for writing on in this section, there's about 25 surfaces for journaling on inside of this section. I did love that this cover on the inside had To Nellie from Philip, December 25th, 1915. I love that. And then, as I love to do, I just put fabric down different areas just to, just to add a little bit of eclecticness to it. Is that a word? This is an old file folder, but these are just areas, hopefully, for journaling. Obviously, I didn't count that because you can't really write on that very well. I think most all of the little pages in this are coffee dyed, other than the watercolor paper. I like to stick paper. I said that in my last video. I think it just adds some personality to a book, and it makes it look used and cared for when there's papers kind of stuck into it. Here's the center. This is a little rusty paper clip there. Just have a couple things tucked up under that. And then here's the book cover that finishes up the little writing area. And I did create a little pencil pouch or paintbrush pouch, but I did create a little hard case for this to slide down into. And you'll see that there's fabric lining the back of this book cover here. And then this is the canvas book cover of that book. And then a little piece of fabric trim kind of sticking out at the top. Now this, in my other books, I normally do this as just a art section. But what I did this time is I did still leave, I think there's around 10 surfaces that you can paint on or sketch on. This is watercolor paper that is the base of all of these pages, so you can water paint on those. Gesso, it'll accept all of that because it's watercolor paper. But I did kind of put a lot into this instead of leaving so much space for someone to paint. This one has more embellishments and collaging on the pages, I guess you would say. My other one had collages, but it was all smooth collages to where you could gesso over it and paint. These are more textured and, I guess, bulky. So this is a rusty bird, on a limb. And I took twine. I was trying to kind of get a bird's nest effect plus a frame effect. So I framed it out with some twine. There's a piece of twine on there. So I framed that out with some twine and just did a little bit of stitching there with this beautiful fabric that I hoard that my friend Pam gave me. Love it. Don't want to use it, and she's fussed at me and told me I better start using it. On the back of this page is just some fabric, and I do not remember what kind of paper this is. I coffee dyed this paper and did not expect it to take, because it's almost like a waxy paper. And oh, I just love it. It turned out real crunchy. I don't know what it was though. I wish I did so that I could do some more. I only had like one little piece, and yeah, I don't know what that was. I want to think it came in a package or something. But anyway, there's fabric layered across and down. And then on this page, I just did a lot of different collaging. This is a really old, we cleaned out my father-in-law's workshop. And this is an old piece of sandpaper that he had down in his workshop. And it was just a little square. And I tore off and used part of it. And there's there's some of the like drywall tape back here. This is a coilless pen. I believe I got this one from Kathy with rust paper scissors. And I put some beads on here, and I thought these beads were so cool because I thought they kind of coordinated with the fabric that's on the back of the book covers. So I just thought that was kind of cool, the way the beads almost coordinated with that. And so they just slide around on that pen. Did I leave anything out? Just a lot of layering. This page here is just some areas for writing on. Or painting, I should say. Sorry, I was distracted. I was looking out the window. My little dogs are out there chasing squirrels, so I'm waiting for them to start barking at any minute. Anyway, so yeah, this is watercolor surfaces. This is watercolor paper, so you can paint on these areas here. This, I just kind of put a little bead in there, so some interactive playtime. It's just a little bead you can spin around. And then another little area for painting on. This is a bag, and I've collaged it. That's a little piece of muslin fabric with a number stamped on it. And then all kind of collaging, music, paper, book pages, just a little bit of everything really. This is in between the two signatures there, and you'll see that I used a coffee stained muslin on the spine, on the inside of the spine. And then inside of the bag, this is a, y'all, I love these. It's grungy, it's sloppy, it's, but I made these, I haven't made one in a while, but I used to call it my book binding pouch. And I used it, and I kept my needles. I don't even remember if I used this particular one, but I used to make these, and you keep needles on the front page. Yeah, it looks like I see some holes there, so I probably either stored some in it or something. But you can keep needles in that, and then on the back pouch, it's magnetic. And then you can keep like your, I now use a box for all my stuff, so let me kind of show you what I was going to say about that. So yeah, the back was a place where you could just kind of keep your bookbinding cord, and I switched over to a different awl, so this one doesn't fit in there good, and so I started making bigger ones, and then I didn't like the bigger ones because I don't know, my other stuff would fall out. But anyway, but back when I used my smaller awl, it fit in there perfectly. And then I also had a little thing I kept my paper clips in, because you know when you sew in a signature, you like to clip your pages with paper clips, so I'd kept a thing with my paper clips in there. And then that was when I wanted to bind a book, I just grabbed this. Well, I had found that my awl got bigger I ended up using different types of clips. I tend to switch over now to these bulldog clips. So anyway, so now I throw it all into a box, and that's the way I do it now. But I did think that these book binding pouches were really cool, but you could use it for really anything else. Put one of those into the bag there, and then watercoloring space or sketching, get everything back out of the way. And then this is more collaging. Kind of hold it up so you can see there's a rusty paper clip, some real frayed and thin ribbon. It is so thin it just is barely there. It's like tissue paper almost. There's another little piece of that wax paper. And then this is the front page of that book there. So it's the Girls of Mrs. Pritchard's School. And then this is another collage page with some little trim at the top stapled on. Let's see if I can hold it up so you can see everything. There's a little coilless pin with some beads on that, and another piece of kind of like a little snippet area. Another piece of the muslin with a number. This is, I don't remember what this is. It's something, I don't remember. It came out of my father-in-law's workshop, but I don't remember what it was too. And then more watercoloring places. I did put fabric in there, and you can just kind of trim that off if that bothers you once you have your painting in there. Let me see if I can reach my book. I don't know if y'all remember the way I like to, hold on one minute, let me grab my book. Y'all remember I did one of these for myself, and I have to say I haven't done as much in it as I had wanted to. I tend to put a lot of stuff in here with the intentions of attaching it, like weird stuff I haven't gone in and attached yet, but I already showed on one of my other videos the painting I did with the wheat, and I went in and did some painting with flowers. So this is what I was talking about, how you can go in and paint on these pages that's, you know, mixed in with your stuff. So yeah, I painted, and even painted something one day and didn't have my book with me, so I painted it and just kind of clipped it in here. It's just fun to be able to have a book that's specific to your painting or drawing or sketching. I love to charcoal as well. Again, watercolor area. This is another one of the little peekaboo things. This one has a key charm in it on the corner, so it works similar to a tab. So for the tabs on this one, we have 2 of those and then a bag. And then this is the other part of the page out of that book that's on the front. Had a cool picture on it, and this poem says, "Dreaming of a fabric the color of a pearl, a dress to make a teacher, a dress to make a girl. The flowers will adorn it, just as flowers often do. The lace will chase away the dread and happiness pursue." And that's the back. So I'm going to end the video there. I'll get this posted in my Etsy. Hopefully by the time this video posts, that will be in my Etsy. Oh, I forgot this. So yeah, I also stuck this into the back of the book. It is a cool, this is a vintage hosiery bag. I was going to sew it in as part of one of the signatures, but honestly I thought that whoever gets this might want to be able to use this in a different book. And once it's sewn in, it is so thin and fragile, I didn't want to risk messing it up. But what you can do if you want to keep it in this book is I clipped this down just so that wouldn't constantly flip open and then get torn. I'll probably tear it trying to put the paper clip back on. But what you can do is just get a piece of tape, washi tape or whatnot, and hinge it in there. started to do that, but I thought, you know, I love the idea of just tucking stuff in, and whoever gets this might want to use this in a different way. So anyway, it's just a cool little envelope. So anyway, let me wrap this up. I'm going to do a quick flip through of the other book on a separate video, and hopefully I'll have this posted in my Etsy before this video post. If not, it'll be posted very soon. Or you can comment below and get with me if you have any questions or comments. And if you like the video, please hit like for me, please. And thanks so much for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.